How to increase your sales on Fiverr in 2025. And I wanted to talk today about the ways how you can really boost that revenue, because a lot of sellers, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing from them is that they're telling that they hit their ceiling and they're not able to grow anymore. For example, you can hit $1,000 per month and basically you're not able to grow more than that, or maybe you hit $5,000 per month, or maybe you hit $10,000 or $20,000. So you need to understand that if you're offering one particular service, at any point you're always going to have your ups and downs. So at some point things will be going really well, you'll be getting a lot of traffic, a lot of momentum, and that's great. But then at some point you'll start to actually seeing a decline, and then eventually you'll be wondering what actually happened. But on Fiverr right now, and especially this might be affecting other sellers in the past, like veteran sellers, because before Fiverr was a little bit different. Now, of course, we're having more sellers, we're having a lot of different services. We also have a lot more buyers than before, buyers who are spending more. But in my journey, in my case, I'm always been transparent about my journey, documenting my journey, how I've been growing my Fiverr profile, and in terms of numbers as well. Of course, this can be very, very successful journey. This can be, something that can bring you that full-time income. And you can, as you can see with my numbers, we are at 25K in January. It's the end of January. So this month is going to be not sure where, but probably we will be able to pass 30K. So this is definitely possible. But I've been, I would say, also it's a good example, because as you can see for 2024 I've been very consistent. I would say at more or less the same level at around 30K for the whole year, which is still incredible. But as you can see, it was also kind of like I hit the ceiling, and that's why I wanted to talk about why this happened to me, why this might be happening to you, and how you can prevent that. The first thing regarding my profile, regarding my services, I do offer several gigs. Right now I have 5 gigs. My services divide into, I would say, 2 directions. One direction is growing Instagram accounts. That's what I do. That's what I have been doing for a long time. And the second direction is providing content services, right? So social media content, content creation and posting. So it's kind of like goes in one basket there. So I have those 2 directions, and one direction is able to provide, let's say, around 10K. Another direction is able to provide me around 20K. So that's, let's say, 30K where they come from. So if you are looking at your profile and thinking, for example, we can see with other social media, marketers, managers, for example, most of the people, they're not going to have a lot of gigs. They're only going to have like a few gigs, and maybe not more about the gigs, but mostly about the actual service they provide. So it's going to be like one type of service. So for example, here you can see she is creating very similar service to mine as well, has a lot more orders in queue, things are working well. That's amazing, right? Then she has another service which is a smart, because that's what I was always saying, that you have to kind of like differentiate. If you can have not maybe exact the same gigs, but slightly different, but maybe same service but slightly different offerings, you can of course create multiple gigs. Because even in my case, I can show you here, when I go to my gigs, each gig has a possibility to be ranked. So for example, this gig right now, it's going down. The other gig I have is kind of like consistent, and then I have content gigs as well, which are also providing. So the more gigs you have, the more chances you can, to get more buyers, to get more leads. Like this one is also been pretty good. So that allows you to have more opportunities to be ranked right on Fiverr. So this is very, very important. And for her as well, like she has 2 gigs, which is great, but this is still a one service. Now we can go here and scroll down. We can see other people. For example, I want to show you one of the other sellers. Let's say, for example, here, Joe, right? So he is the first that came up to me. I also have done an interview with another seller. Actually, Lambros, he's also here. I've been mentioning him about his service in my previous videos. But you can see, like, even taking example of both of them, they provide different services. For example, we can see Joe is providing the Facebook ad service, paid ads. He has 23 orders in queue. I mean, he's been always kind of consistent. I've been seeing him every time I go into his gig. He has about the same number of orders in queue. So you have to understand that it's going to be hard to just like maximize, because especially if you're a seller, let's say, you're relying on Fiverr, you don't maybe have a lot of presence outside of Fiverr, like it's going to be hard to just go from 20 orders in queue to like 80 or 90. It's going to take some time, right? This will be a result of multiple actions. Both Fiverr is pushing you, promoted gigs, promotions that you are doing as well on Fiverr, and then of course bringing traffic outside of Fiverr. So for you, if you're really trying to scale the journey, it makes more sense to come up with a new services. They can be in the same category, for example, social media marketing category, or website development category, or logo design category, but they can even be in different categories, right? So that's totally fine. But of course, you have to look at your specialties, because if you're doing marketing, social media marketing, and then suddenly you're starting to do logo design, you need to have either a good team or you need to have a good systems in place. But for example, offering services that will be different, this will be a key to scale your journey. Because for example, one of my services brings 10K. For example, if I'm going to be adding paid ads as a service, that could potentially provide an extra 10K or maybe 15K. That's already more. And by having multiple services, you are able to really scale your journey to like unbelievable. But this is one part. The second part is, of course, having a system for that. Having a system, which means you either have a good system where you can create multiple services, or you have either a team, right? People who are actually working on those specific services. In our case, we do have both systems and team as well. So in my case, I do have designers who are working on the content, creating content for clients, right? And then we have a content manager who does check their work, who does do the quality checks, and then have essentially communication with the client and send the content to the client. So this is something that you should also think about, because it's not going to be easy to do it, but it will take time. But eventually, if you start doing that, you will be able to pass to that next level. So guys, I think it's very, it's a very straight forward, of course, when we're looking at Fiverr and how to scale, increase. Besides all of these optimizations of your profile, videos, gig videos, you need to understand that the service is the key, right? And if you can provide, because for example, if you have a customer for, let's say any seller have a customer, like let's say Joe has 23 orders in queue, like 23 potential customers here. He could potentially offer to this customer something more besides paid ads. He could offer them maybe website development. He can offer them maybe Instagram growth, right? So he's focusing also mostly on setting up, let's say, the Google ads as well. This is also an option here. Of course, with this category, we don't see the orders in queue, but still, it definitely has, I'm sure it has a demand. So, but also how Joe can scale, he can scale it by having others like content services, right? Or maybe he can help with the websites. So this is the idea, to try to explore, and that's the thing. Don't sit on your service forever, right? And just think that, okay, my service will be always having demand. The same happened to me. Instagram growth has been, everyone wants to grow on Instagram. Of course, Instagram is still, because the platform itself is popular, of course, it has a demand for businesses, for people, to grow their pages. That's why my service is still in demand. But the actual service itself is very fragile, because we're always dependent on different algorithms and different changes by Instagram. So I already experienced that even last year. At some point when something changes, then your whole service can be in danger. And then if you just rely on one service, your whole Fiverr journey can be in danger. So guys, just be careful with this. And if you have already something is working, like your service is working, it's great, amazing. Just build a team, try to have that system in place where you're not spending all of your time doing this service, but you actually have someone who can help you fulfill this service. They have internal processes, and then try to come up with a new service, right? That's something that I'm telling you, and I'm also telling it myself, because that's our plans as well, that we are going to be trying to scale into other directions with services, right? Not maybe necessarily creating something completely new, but even scaling within the services we provide. So maybe offering more extras, right? So we can increase the average spend that the customer spends with us. We can also come up with a new service, like even offering paid ads can be a good option, because it's a new direction, but it can still provide a great revenue. At the same time, for example, the content service we have, we can definitely improve it more by offering reels, right? Short form content. And that way our clients going to be staying with us longer, because they don't need to find someone else who will do like short form content, because we can handle that for them. And at the same time, it increases the spend as well of a customer. So there are multiple ways, but I want you to just think more about that, not necessarily looking at yes, I mean, you know, before there've been like a trend with NFT, right? Everyone was trying to draw those NFT characters. That was a huge trend that was providing a lot of revenue, but as you can see now, it's not there. So a lot of people who are relying only on that, they're not on Fiverr maybe anymore, right? So that's why you have to be able to look at the industry itself, what is popular, like AI agents. These things are getting popular. Of course, you have to look at also your base. Like even if you have a few clients right now, you can ask them like what something that you are interested besides, let's say, whatever you're doing, content or growth or paid ads, and that way your clients can also give you some ideas, and potentially you can come up with the services for that, because you will already have your first customers for that service. Is like your current clients who are with you for other service. So there are a lot of things, and you know, for me as well, this is something going to be interesting in 2025. Besides doing any rebranding, updating the information, videos, gig, all of that is very important always. But coming up with a service, that's even more important, because that's the core, right? That's the core of your business, and that's something that you know, it doesn't take, you know, it's not quick to just come up with a service. It takes a lot of time. Like even just in last year, we were able to you know, hire a few people. But if I look at this kind of like the journey, I'm like, wow, we got, you know, let's say 3-4 people just in the whole year, right? But then we interviewed like hundreds of people. We talked with them, you know, and eventually we ended up with only getting like 3 to 4 people added to the team. So it's not, you know, things are unfortunately not, you know, not coming fast sometimes as we want. But we gotta be patient. We gotta look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is definitely, if you want to grow right now in 2025. And you know, in 2026, 2027, you need to have multiple services and be able to have those services rank in different places. And eventually you can still have the same number of clients as you have right now, but they're going to be spending more with you, because they don't need to spend you know, with someone else who provides other service that you don't provide, because you can start doing that. So guys, let me know if any questions. Please feel free to write in the comments. I'm going to be also launching something very exciting as well soon in February for all the Fiverr sellers. That this is like I can say like a secret project that I've been working together with a team for, I would say, close to a year now. So I'm really excited about this. You will be the first to know about that. I'm really hoping to, you know, step up 2025 with just providing, because, you know, I'm using Fiverr. As you can see my journey, I'm transparent. And of course there are some things that it is good, but it's also not maybe as good as I want it to be, or other sellers want it to be. So it creates a lot of potential there as well. So I'll be sharing that soon, and feel free to subscribe to my newsletter, freelancehustle.com, to stay updated, more behind the scenes, more behind actually like operation content that is happening inside of my Fiverr profile, inside of the agency as well. So guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the comments. You can reach out on X and Instagram, and see you in the next one.